The 5 hardest realities to face after breaking up with a narcissist. This episode is for you if you have been having trouble accepting the truth about your narcissistic relationship, or if you have tried to move on but have been unsuccessful. To help you cope with life after breaking up with a narcissist, we've compiled a list of the top 5 challenges you'll face. If it piques your interest and you can't wait to learn more, subscribe and hit that bell button. I have a quick inquiry before we get started. Where do you have the most difficulty accepting reality? Which of these do you wish you could accept but can't? Help other survivors feel less alone by sharing your experiences in the comments section. Number 1. If it was a narcissistic relationship, thus the whole thing was fake. Seriously, what happened? You poured your entire being into the connection, not just your emotions. You put forth an incredible amount of effort. You made a lot of concessions, and yet you went ahead and made peace with the narcissist. Completely flawed narcissist. Foreseeing good things for the couple, you put your faith in them. You put your trust in them. Indeed you did. You probably had this person pegged as the one I'd been waiting for all along. You see this individual as the savior you've been waiting for. However, what did actually occur? You suffered a moral wound and harm to your soul because of how you were treated. You were deceived, traumatized, abandoned, demoralized, and made a fool of. Others took advantage of your generosity, empathy, and your compassion. To admit that it was all an elaborate fabrication now would be to acknowledge that everything I did for them or experienced with them, including the pleasant recollections, was in fact real. To accept this is to accept that the person I saw at the beginning of the relationship was so charming, so nice, so present, so tuned, so great. Now is dead, never was. If you give in to the idea that it was all a deception, you're basically admitting that the person, the monster, you saw later in the relationship is who they really were. To take in all of this information at once triggers a paralyzing freeze response that renders rational thought impossible. It's like watching someone get stabbed in the face as your brain refuses to process what it's seeing. Still, wondering if your imagination is playing tricks on you. Is someone playing a joke on us? Is this a movie set, or do they have anything more interesting planned? You must not concede that such violence and such a long delay are possible. Likewise, if the narcissist gaslighted you, abused you, traumatized you, or otherwise treated you as intolerable, this holds true as well. You were immobilized by the force of reality's sudden realization. You can't wrap your head around the idea that someone could be this evil. Number 2. All the nice things you've had were fabrications meant to fool your emotions. Your cognitive dissonance prevents you from admitting that the narcissist lied about the happy moments you shared together. Why? Because there is also a conflict of feelings. When they were nice to you, the same narcissist who made you feel bad about yourself was also the reason why you felt good about yourself. It causes a schism in your psyche and separates your experiences so that you can't tell the difference between the truth and the falsehood. To realize that the positive things you remember were also falsehoods used to keep you in the relationship and maintain you is a huge step forward. It is giving up one's entire life. Having something to cling to is better than nothing, but if you accept that it was also a lie, you will have to let go of the hope that one day you will be able to look back on your life with fond memories and feel a sense of satisfaction that you were right. It's the same as conceding that from the very start, everything was dreary and void of light. In the middle, admitting that the wonderful times were an illusion entails admitting that you were duped, misled, fooled into trusting, and taken advantage of by someone you thought you could trust. Reasons why it's so hard to admit the wonderful days were an illusion. Number 3, they made you expect a dream, but gave you a nightmare instead. Like all narcissists, they promise you a great future at the beginning of the relationship. They give you false hope for the future by promising you things that will never come to pass. But the future they paint for you is so alluring that you can't help but be drawn in. It's an elaborate hoax. That's why having faith is so satisfying. It's incredible to think about and dream about. And that's what muddies your thinking to the point that you can't ask the important questions that would help you separate fantasy from the truth. They generate a trance-like state in you by pretending to be the future you want, and you fall for it. You find out that all they told you about the future you may have with them, was nothing but a load of falsehoods and rubbish. It was just garbage. It was. This is only baiting. They used to bait your hooks so you'd bite and give them what they craved. They promised you the moon and the stars, but they never delivered on any of their demands, whether it was affection, financial support, or sexual favors. On the contrary, they sent a nightmare instead. They created for you a world so terrible that you had to fight through it every day. Number 4, the narcissist will never give you privacy. For someone to truly betray you, to abandon you in the middle of nowhere, ruined and alone, to cause you so much pain, they should at least provide you with some resolution that allows you to move on with your life. In any case, what does a narcissist do? What they do is throw you to the wolves. Whether you live or die is of little concern to them. If they don't steal something from you, they depart immediately and never come back. If they don't believe they can hoover you, and they leave you there, you probably have a lot of questions. Because of this, you wonder if he is a narcissist. Can she really be that awful? Oh, really? How could she act like that? What stopped her from doing this and that? Do you know if she's content? When he met this new individual, did he feel at ease? Further, etc., that's the circle of uncertainty you keep going around in your head, and you can't seem to accept the fact that this individual didn't feel compelled to provide you with an answer that would allow you to go on. They didn't value you or the connection enough to give you the last piece of the puzzle so he could finish it and go on. Instead, you're on your own to research and learn about things like narcissistic personality disorder and the existence of people like them. You had to accept the fact that bad things had occurred to me and find peace with the fact that the world had a terrible side. And yet, here I am, realizing that they won't provide closure and accepting that you'll have to get it elsewhere. Understanding that you must wait for your personal experiences to bring you closure is the key to freedom. Because everything you need to know to make sense of your feelings and finally let go is there if you take the time to examine them closely. Number 5, and the final one. The narcissists exploited you to keep you around so they might acquire supplies. This is a really heartbreaking thing to accept and believe, because believing that you were kept as an object and used and tossed away means accepting that you have no self-worth, you have no esteem, you have no confidence. It recognizes that you were cheated, like a piece of furniture that they utilized, and since it grew old, they tossed it away. Accepting all of this means you will also have to recognize that you became used to and tricked by a person, but you don't have to bear the guilt for it. It's not. That you caused it to yourself, it was done to you. They twisted, gaslit, and did all of the terrible crap that these individuals do to take advantage of you. You didn't allow it. It occurred to you. You were utterly removed from that agency, which would have let you evaluate if it was being approved. You were in a condition of fight, flight, or freeze, and that is how you maintained surviving in the relationship. You had no access to the reasoning area of your brain, so they kept torturing you. Why? Because they immobilize your nervous system. They stunned you and you kept living from one instant to the next. So recognizing that someone objectifies you is incredibly tough because it creates a lot of guilt. You feel uncomfortable in yourself because you ask questions like, How could I allow that? Why did I allow that? Why did I let it happen to me? Why couldn't I stop them? But you are saying all of this. You are asking these questions because you have access to the agency today. You're out of the poison, and you may have some clarity now, which is why you can ask these questions back then. You did not have those questions. You could not ask such questions because you did not have the agency. So giving yourself a lot of compassion, embracing yourself as you are, and recognizing that it was considerably more intricate than how it looks today is the key to healing. You need to realize that you were used, but at the same time, you gave out of your good nature. You did what you felt was the correct thing to do. You performed what is in your nature, making you different from this thing you were with. Accepting things as they are after leaving the narcissist is tough, but you need to do it if you want to set yourself free. I think this is all I can say in today's video. We will meet again at the next one. Till then, let us keep healing ourselves.